Listen to me. There is a version of you right now that has no business surviving another day. That version that doubts, that hesitates, that waits for permission, that settles for less, that hides behind excuses. That version must die tonight. Because if you don't kill it, it will kill your dreams. It will kill your confidence. It will kill your destiny. You cannot walk into the life you were created for carrying the corpse of who you used to be. You've got to bury it and bury it deep. There comes a time when you must look at yourself in the mirror and recognize that the enemy isn't always outside. It's inside. That weak self that whispers, take it easy. Don't try too hard. Maybe it's not meant for you. That voice has robbed you for too long. And as long as you keep listening to it, you will never taste the greatness that has been assigned to your name. The weak version of you thrives on comfort, and comfort is the silent killer of destiny. The moment you decide, I don't need comfort, I need growth. I don't need applause. I need alignment. I don't need easy. I need purpose. That's the moment the weak self begins to lose its grip on you. Some of you are carrying habits that have outlived their season. You are entertaining friendships that drain your spirit. You are tolerating environments that suffocate your greatness. And you wonder why your soul feels restless. It's because the strong self is crying out, let me breathe, let me lead, let me live. You've been feeding your weakness when you should have been starving it. Discipline is the knife that cuts the throat of weakness. Every time you choose to rise early when your weakness says sleep in, you kill it. Every time you say no to distractions when weakness says just this once, you kill it. Every time you stand firm in faith when weakness says it's impossible, you kill it. Greatness is not born in grand moments. It's forged in the quiet, consistent decisions that choke the life out of weakness. You must understand this. The stronger version of yourself is not waiting for better circumstances. It is waiting for your decision. It's not on the other side of comfort. It's on the other side of surrender. You've got to detach emotionally and spiritually from anything that feeds the old you. You don't owe your weakness loyalty. You don't owe your past self another day. Yes, it will be painful. Yes, it will feel lonely. Transformation always does. But remember this, pain is not punishment, it's preparation. It's preparation. Every tear, every struggle, every sacrifice is chiseling away the weak self and giving birth to the warrior within you. Don't run from the fire, let it refine you. Don't run from the weight, let it strengthen you. Hear me, the weak self depends on validation. It needs people to clap before it moves. It needs the world's permission before it acts, but the stronger self moves because it's aligned with divine assignment. Doesn't need approval. It carries authority. It doesn't need permission. It carries purpose. When you stop living for applause and start living for alignment, that's when you step into real power. Every day you wake up, you're attending either a funeral or a resurrection. Either you bury the weak self with your decisions, or you resurrect it with your excuses. You decide which version walks out of the house with you. So I ask you, are you willing to kill that weak version? Are you willing to starve it, silence it, bury it? Because your future self is waiting on you. Your children's future is waiting on you. Your purpose is waiting on you. Your purpose is waiting on you. But it will not wait forever. The weak self will always whisper, oh, tomorrow. The strong self says, now. Choose now. Bury the weakness. Rise in strength and live the life you were destined to live. Would you like me to expand the speech into a 25-minute delivery style script with pauses, crowd engagement, emotional pacing? Exactly like how Les Brown would deliver it on stage. The weak version of yourself is not a protector. It's a prison guard. It whispers lies to keep you behind bars, convincing you that you are safe inside your limitations. It says, stay here where it's familiar. Don't risk failure. Don't step out. Don't dream too big. And while it pretends to keep you safe, what it's really doing is locking you away from your destiny. You cannot walk into greatness chained by the same doubts, fears, and excuses that have held you hostage for years. Every time you give in to that weak voice, you are not just delaying your growth. You are sentencing yourself to a life of mediocrity. This prison is invisible, yet it feels heavier than steel. It's built out of patterns you've repeated for so long that you think they define you. The weak self thrives on those patterns: procrastination, overthinking, fear of judgment. And the tragedy is, the more you feed those patterns, the stronger the prison becomes. You may not see the bars, but you feel them when opportunities knock, and you shrink back. You feel them when you know you were made for more, but you keep settling for less. You feel them every time you silence your dreams just to avoid discomfort. That's not living, that's existing in captivity. The weak version of yourself disguises captivity as comfort. It tells you that avoiding the struggle is wisdom, that staying small is humility, that silence is peace. But understand this: what feels like peace is often just the absence of growth. What feels like safety is really stagnation, and stagnation is spiritual death. The weak self keeps you lulled into a false sense of security, while quietly draining the power from your spirit. And one day, if you don't confront it, you'll look back and realize you've lived a life behind bars, never touching the freedom of who you could have become. But here's the truth: you already hold the key. The lock on this prison was never real. The only thing keeping the door closed is your agreement with weakness. The moment you decide, I will not let fear dictate my choices. I will not let doubt lead my steps. I will not let excuses be my language. That's the moment the bars dissolve. Freedom doesn't come from waiting. It comes from deciding. It comes from breaking the agreement you made with your weakest self and choosing to step into the power of who you really are. Think about it. Every person who ever transformed their life had to escape this prison. They had to confront the version of themselves that wanted to stay comfortable, hidden, and safe. They had to face the shame, the fear, the resistance, and say, and no more. That's the battle. It's not you against the world. It's you against the weak version of you. And the greatest victory you will ever win is not over others, but over yourself. Because once you defeat that prisoner inside, no external chains can hold you. I challenge you today. Are you still living in that prison? Are you still bowing to the God that tells you you're not enough? Because that God is a liar. That weak version of yourself is not who you are, it's who you've been. It's time to rise, to fight, to break out. It's time to kill that weak self so you can step into the freedom of your true identity. The strong you, the resilient you, the destined you. You've been behind bars long enough. The world is waiting for you to walk free. Too many people confuse attachment with love, attachment with loyalty, attachment with purpose. But listen to me, attachment to what drains you is not love, it is bondage. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding for what was never meant to give you life. Real strength begins the moment you can say, this no longer serves who I am becoming, and I will not let it control me anymore. Your weak self thrives on attachments. It clings to the opinions of others, terrified of disapproval. It clings to comfort zones, afraid of stepping into the unknown. The weak self is not just a mindset. It is a spiritual weight trying to hold you back from your purpose. And when you practice discipline, when you pray consistently, when you guard your thoughts, when you govern your habits, you are declaring to the universe that you will not be ruled by weakness. Every disciplined choice is a funeral service for your excuses. Every disciplined act is a coffin for your laziness. Discipline buries the weak self and resurrects the warrior you were meant to be. But let's be clear, discipline hurts. It hurts to wake up earlier when your body begs for sleep. It hurts to stay focused when distractions scream louder than your vision. It hurts to sacrifice pleasures for progress. Yet that pain is holy. It's the price of transformation. The weak self interprets that pain as a reason to stop. The strong self interprets that pain as a reason to keep going. Because discipline teaches you that temporary pain is a small cost for permanent freedom. Discipline also breeds trust in yourself and in the process. When you live without discipline, you betray yourself daily. You promise change but never follow through. You plan goals but never take action. That betrayal erodes your confidence. But when you live with discipline, you rebuild that trust. You keep your word to yourself. You do what you said you would do. And slowly, the weak self loses its credibility. It can no longer persuade you with excuses because you've proven to yourself that you are stronger than your feelings. So understand this. Every day you live without discipline, you feed your weakness. Every day you live with discipline, you starve it. You can't kill weakness with wishful thinking, with hopes, with empty affirmations. Weakness dies only when discipline becomes your lifestyle. Discipline is the weapon, and every day is a battlefield. You either strike at your weakness, or your weakness strikes at you. Pick up the weapon, use it, because the stronger version of you is waiting on the other side of discipline. You cannot walk into a new destiny carrying the same identity that chained you to mediocrity. The weak version of you is not just a set of bad habits. It is an identity, a way of seeing yourself, a story you keep repeating about who you are and what you are capable of. If you continue to identify with that weak self, you will continue to live out its limitations. That's why transformation is impossible without an identity shift. You can't keep saying, this is just who I am, and expect to experience the life of the person you were created to be. You must let go of who you've been in order to embrace who you are becoming. Identity is the engine that drives behavior. You don't act according to what you want, you act according to who you believe you are. The weak self says, I am broken, I am not enough, I am a failure. And because you agree with that identity, you keep living it out. But when you shift your identity and declare, I am disciplined, I am resilient, I am chosen, I am destined, suddenly your actions begin to align with your declarations. You stop living as a victim of circumstance and start living as an architect. Until the identity shifts, the cycle repeats. The weak version of you feeds on labels. Labels given to you by family, society, teachers, or even your past mistakes. Words like lazy, unworthy, failure, average. And whether you realize it or not, you've worn those labels like garments, allowing them to shape the way you think, act, and dream. But you were never meant to live under those false names. An identity shift requires you to rip off every false label and clothe yourself with truth. You must say, that is not who I am anymore. That is not my name. That is not my destiny. Understand this. Shifting identity is not about pretending. It is about aligning. It is about stepping into the truth of who you were created to be before fear, doubt, and failure try to convince you otherwise. The strong version of yourself already exists. It is not something you are trying to create. It is someone you are uncovering. Identity shift is the excavation of your authentic self, the part of you that has been buried under years of weakness and lies. And when you finally uncover that identity, you will begin to walk with a power that cannot be shaken. But here's the challenge. Identity shift requires death. The weak self will fight for survival. It will remind you of every failure, every fear, every time you quit. It will say, this is just who you are. People like you don't change. And unless you are willing to bury that identity, it will bury your future. That's why identity shift is not optional. It is non-negotiable. If you don't shift, you stay stuck. If you don't shift, you live on repeat. If you don't shift, you'll spend your whole life trapped in the same cycle, never touching the life you were born to live. So I ask you today, who do you believe you are? Who are you agreeing to be? Because your future rises or falls on your identity. If you see yourself as weak, you will keep living weak. But if you see yourself as powerful, as disciplined, as chosen, as destined, you will rise into that vision. The weak identity must die for the strong identity to live. This is your turning point. Stop clinging to the old name. Stop repeating the old story. Step into the new identity, because everything you desire in life is waiting on the person you are destined to become. Pain is not your enemy. It is your midwife. It is the force that helps give birth to the stronger version of you. Every time you go through pain, life is not trying to destroy you. It is trying to deliver you. Just like a child cannot enter the world without labor pains, the stronger you cannot emerge without struggle. The weak self hates pain because pain demands growth. But the strong self embraces pain because it understands that without it, transformation will never take place. Pain is not punishment. It is preparation. The weak self interprets pain as a reason to quit. It says that this is too much. It's not worth it. Stop now. But the truth is, pain is a compass. Sunday, it points you toward the very areas of your life that require strengthening. The pain of discipline shows you where you've been undisciplined. The pain of rejection reveals where you've depended too much on people's approval. The pain of failure uncovers the weaknesses in your strategy and the strength you still need to develop. If you pay attention, pain is not just suffering, it is teaching. Every wound carries wisdom if you are willing to listen. Think about it. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Muscles are built through resistance. Gold is refined through fire. Nothing of value is created without struggle, and neither will you be. The stronger version of yourself cannot be born out of comfort. It must be forged in the fires of discomfort. That's why pain is holy. It breaks the shell of the weak self so that the strong self can emerge. Without the fire, there is no refinement. Without the storm, there is no strength. Without the struggle, there is no growth. Then yes, it hurts. Growth always does. You will lose people you thought would stay forever. You will face battles you didn't feel ready for. You will endure nights where you cry yourself to sleep. But understand this, those tears are watering the soil of your destiny. That pain is pushing you, stretching you, preparing you to carry the weight of the future you are stepping into. The weak version of you cannot carry that future. It would break under the weight. That's why the pain is necessary. To strip away weakness so that only strength remains. The strong understand that pain is not meant to break you, but to build you. They see every trial as a test, every setback as a setup, every wound as a workshop. They don't ask, oh, why me? And they ask, what is this teaching me? Because they know pain is never wasted. Every experience, no matter how crushing, is molding them into someone who cannot be shaken, cannot be broken, cannot be stopped. Pain births resilience, and resilience births greatness. So let me ask you, how are you treating your pain? Are you cursing it, running from it, avoiding it? Or are you learning from it, embracing it, allowing it to shape you? Because the truth is, you cannot give birth to the stronger self without enduring the labor of pain. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Lean into it. Let it teach you, mold you, refine you. For on the other side of that pain lies the version of you that is unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. Pain is not here to destroy you. It is here to deliver you. The weak version of you craves validation like oxygen. It needs constant approval to feel alive. It waits for others to clap before it moves. It waits for others to agree before it acts. It waits for others to accept before it believes. And as long as you are attached to validation, you will always live small, always live dependent, always live half of who you were created to be. True power comes when you detach from the applause of the crowd and anchor yourself in the approval of your purpose. You cannot rise into your destiny while being chained to people's opinions. Validation is one of the most seductive prisons. It feels good when people praise you, when they recognize you, when they celebrate you. But the danger is this. If you need their applause to rise, then their silence will cause you to fall. If your worth is tied to their approval, then your identity is vulnerable to their rejection. That is why detachment is crucial, because a strong version of you does not need an audience to act. It moves because it is aligned with a vision, because it is called, because it is destined. When you detach from validation, you gain freedom. Freedom to make bold choices without fear of criticism. Freedom to chase dreams that others laugh at. Freedom to walk away from relationships that don't align with your purpose. Validation is a leash, but detachment cuts the cord. And once that cord is cut, you no longer live for the acceptance of men. You live for the fulfillment of your mission. That is where confidence is born. Confidence that does not waver when the crowd disappears. Confidence that does not shrink when misunderstood. Confidence that comes from knowing who you are and why you are here. Detachment from validation also demands courage. Because there will be seasons where no one claps, no one understands, no one supports you. And the weak self cannot survive those seasons. It will fold, it will quit, it will crawl back into comfort. But the strong self thrives there. The strong self says, even if no one believes in me, I believe. Even if no one sees it, I see it. Even if no one walks with me, I'll keep walking. That's where greatness is forged, in the hidden places where validation is absent, but vision is alive. Understand this. Validation is temporary, but purpose is eternal. Today they cheer. Tomorrow they forget. Today they praise you. Tomorrow they criticize you. If your life is tied to the shifting opinions of people, you will always be unstable. But when you detach from validation and attach to divine assignment, you become unshakable. You are no longer swayed by gossip, no longer controlled by critics, no longer addicted to applause. You operate from a higher source, a deeper well, a stronger foundation. So let me ask you, are you still living for applause, or are you living for alignment? Are you still addicted to likes and approval, or are you anchored in purpose? Because your strength will never be found in the validation of others. It will be found in your conviction, your calling, your creator. Detach from validation, and you will discover a power you never knew you had. A power that cannot be silenced, cannot be bribed, cannot be broken. These are not just words. They are choices that determine whether you live free or die a prisoner of your weaker self. The truth is simple, but it is not easy. The life you dream of, the purpose you long for, the greatness you know is in you, it will not be handed to you. It requires death. The death of fear. The death of excuses, the death of laziness, the death of your weak identity. And with every death comes a resurrection. You cannot rise into strength without burying weakness. You cannot walk into destiny without leaving behind who you were. You cannot claim a new life while clinging to the old one. The grave must be filled before the throne can be occupied. So tonight I ask you, who do you choose to be? Will you keep resurrecting the weaker you, feeding it with procrastination, fear, and doubt? Or will you finally bury it once and for all, and resurrect a stronger, disciplined, resilient version of yourself? That choice is not waiting for next year, next month, or even tomorrow. That choice is in this very moment. Life will not wait for you. Opportunity will not wait for you. Opportunity will. Your future will not wait for you. The time to kill weakness is now. And I know it will be painful. It will be lonely. It will be uncomfortable. But remember, pain is the midwife of your stronger self. Discomfort is the soil where greatness grows. Detachment is the path to unshakable power. Discipline is the sword that cuts through every excuse, and the shift in identity is the doorway to destiny. Do not fear the cost. It is nothing compared to the reward of freedom, the reward of clarity, the reward of walking in your true purpose.